piggyback on that, I was working with London at the time, and I went there as well. That was also happened around the time of the Senate race, and Alan Keyes, who they brought in from Boondocks to come run against Barack Obama. He actually did he actually went and toured the facility, part of his campaign. I was there that day when he was there and talked with several visitors. Went through their homes and saw the condition that Isaac was talking about, and did a pretty story, page one. Put that story out there. The story that I did, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but the story that I did, actually a few days later, the Tribune actually did pretty much a similar story. They actually sent a reporter out. A real in-depth story, because up until that time they were talking about why. Just to go back, some woman I guess was over there who shouldn't have been over there, backed into the pillar and made it fall down, drug-related thing, and she was trying to buy something. Anyway, the media was focusing mainly on that. They were focusing on the aspect of, Cecil Butler and property mismanagement. Yeah, we did all that too, but we also put the focus on the residents. What were the conditions that you were living in? We let them tell their own stories. And that really wasn't getting out there until we did it. And what often happens sometimes is, we have people who work with us sometimes with a lot of newspapers. They'll get story ideas from us. So I know that was one story that, again, I hadn't seen the bigger newspapers really go in depth and tell the residents story. It was all the corruption and the scandal and that whole thing. But, that was getting our focus. And so that was what we did, was kind of let the residents tell themselves. It wasn't so much us reporting, it was us talking to them and us telling their stories about what happened.
Questions? What questions do you all have for us? It can be anything. It doesn't have to be about that last topic we just were discussing.
Hey, how you doing? In many of my multiple lives, one of the issues that I do think that the local media helps a lot with is, when you talk about local issues, like one of the things that I think is neglected, like our parks. We have one of the most historic parks here in the nation, Columbus Park, which is the Fieldhouse is a historical landmark, as well as some of the other places within the park. And you have a Fowler Park. At one time, I think you couldn't even walk up the stairs without, falling through the stairs. And just those issues of how important when you talk about public safety, our kids, our youth, and the whole theory and the genesis of the park system was so that families would have a place to go for recreation, as well as have those staff there to drive that recreation. And because of again, the impact of tax increment finance on the Chicago Park District budget, you've had staff cutbacks, you have programming cutbacks, as well as capital cutbacks. And that the Park District is not promoting the parks. They, you know about Grant Parks and all the things, Grant Park and all the activities there. We like to always say you can go to a major festival down there at Grant Park, and 2 days later, it looks like they haven't had one footprint of 1 million people down there. Where you come to our neighborhood park, you have this thing of Columbus Park, Fieldhouse is a historical landmark, as well as some of the other places within the park. And you have the Fowler Park. At one time, I think you couldn't even walk up the stairs without, falling through the stairs. And just those issues of how important when you talk about public safety, our kids, our youth, and the whole theory and the genesis of the park system, so that families will have a place to go for recreation, as well as have those staff there to drive that recreation. And because of, again, the impact of tax increment finance on the Chicago Park District budget, you've had staff cutbacks, you have programming cutbacks, as well as capital cutbacks. And the Park District is not promoting the parks. You know about Grant Parks and all the things, Grant Park and all the activities there. We like to always say you can go to a major festival down there at Grant Park, and 2 days later, it looks like they have to have one footprint of 1 million people down there. When you go to our neighborhood park, you have this thing of neglect, and also weekly, I'm biased. Have covered those stories, at least allowed us to tell those stories about what's going on in the Chicago Park District as it relates to lack of programming, lack of staffing, and just in some cases neglect. And when they get those local stories in there, and somebody see it, like you said, the mainstream media may jump on top of it, but somewhere if the Park District is being really sensitive about it, they may jump on those stories and try to at least deal with those conditions.
That's the other message too. We got to get those stories out, because again, that's what we rely on in the community to feed us those stories. Because they don't, even though we live in the community, I mean, we got, so much going on just to keep the paper afloat. So we need, to get those story ideas so that we can actually cover it. Because, and again, after that story runs, I mean, all it has to do is appear in print. Something will happen because, again, whether you're talking about park district or politicians, they all like good press. They don't want bad press. And so, so if they can get away with feeding us, as they sometimes do, a lot of, nice fluff pieces. We gave away some bicycles. We gave away some presents. I mean, that's nice stuff as well. But, that kind of shields us from covering, what they're supposed to be doing, which is keeping the parks together, taking care of crime on the street. So just getting that story out there will get, it'll get the ball rolling. I can't say that once it appears on paper, A, B, and C will happen, but something usually does happen because once the information gets out there, you can't hide it, you can't sugarcoat it, and once it's out there, something that's happening.
I have a quick question. Is it hard for you guys, I know since you're newspapers are not big enough like most, sometimes could be, is it hard for you guys to do follow-up stories on some of the issues that you have? Because with Terry Dean, you probably know I've sent you everything about baseball issues and stuff on Thomas Baldwin, by the way. And also with Austin Talks, you guys did a situation with us, just like with Mr. Truss was just saying, about one of our local parks that our kids we couldn't even play in the park because the fields were just so horrendous that we had to play all of our games out in the suburbs. It was just that bad. But with Austin Talks, for example, the article, it's I have people talking about it, on Facebook, everywhere like that, but we were just trying to see, do you guys usually do follow-ups on, most stuff that you have?
Absolutely, and the one thing that you all can help us with is we sometimes forget about all the things we should be following up on, or we've heard from 3 people and then these 5 other stories that we should have followed up on is kind of fallen off the radar. But as you were talking, I'm like, oh my gosh, we do need to do a follow-up. And we probably should have done a couple follow-ups, obviously, before today with all this stuff, for instance. But no, absolutely, and maybe quickly we could each talk about the best way to reach us. I know for Austin Talks, that email is checked 24/7. Literally, I checked it overnight. Other folks check it. We respond pretty quickly. We have a phone number on our website, too. We check that, but probably not as much as the email. So maybe Isaac and Terry, you want to talk about the best way to get the follow-ups done and reach you?
Say, hey, Terry. There's a main one, but also,
Well, you can call 312-492-9090. That's our name.
Say it again.
312-492-9090. That's the office number, and my cell phone number is 773-576-1011. The thing about follow-up stories is that community papers, just like even corporate media is strangled by economics right now. So what we try to do is a different model, is to have the community residents actually write the story, and then we use an assembly line process of you do the raw information for us, write it down, then we'll bring it up to journalistic quality and then publish the story. And a lot of people, they have the information because actually they're living the story. And those are the ones that usually give us a call. And we get bombarded with so many calls now, not only just from community residents, just, from PR people. We get bombarded. My email is just overloaded. They will find out also my answering messaging on my cell phone is filled up every day.
Main number to reach me is 708-613-3367. That number should be in the newspaper. But also by email, same as Isaac said. I get a lot of tips, sometimes anonymous through email. That's just my first initial, last name, WJINC.com, WJInc.com, TV. So, and I'll get it to you if you want to.
Let me quick give our cell number, 708-908-0507. I don't actually think that's listed on the website, so please feel free to use that, 708-908-0507. And Isaac's point reminded me that we're the same way. We would be happy as long as we get someone out there to do a follow-up story or to do the first story, but we really want information from you all. Like if you take some photos, that could be the coverage, right? You could shoot me an email, we could get those photos up on the website, and maybe that would be our follow-up for that moment. You know, if you can tell a story visually, it's amazing how many more people will see it and remember it.
What is the cost involved in producing a local paper? From a business standpoint?
That costs, you gotta pay the printer, you gotta pay the person that actually delivers the story, deliver the newspaper, you gotta pay the rent, the lights, the gas, the phone, the internet. You got to also pay the actual person who lays out the newspaper. So there's a lot of different levels of cost there.
So if you could gauge, what is a week or month, or however you say?
With us, I can say our total bill, but we do some other different things, was $13,000 for last month.
13,000 per month.
It's about the same.
Well, to also talk about how do you get advertising? Do you get enough support from the community, local businesses to support the papers?
Well, I think in Austin they may do a little better, even though they got a lot stronger competition. But our case, we don't have enough businesses in North Lawndale. The income range in Austin is $35,000, when it's in North Lawndale is $19,000. Even though we cover other community areas, they're not our main core, and so we're affected by that. So we try to reach out to other businesses, and since the economy dropped, we lost a lot of advertising because businesses just didn't have the money, and that's one of the first things they target, is marketing and advertising, which is like shooting yourself in the foot.